Hi friends, and welcome to the Art of Estate Planning podcast. I'm Tara Lucke, founder of the Art of Estate Planning, and my mission is to inform, inspire, and support you in your estate planning practice. Before we dive in, a quick heads up. The primary purpose of this podcast is to educate and inspire. The views expressed by me and any of our guests are for information purposes only and do not constitute legal, taxation, or financial advice. If you act on anything from this episode, please make sure you can back up your advice by relying on primary sources such as legislation references and case law. Thank you for tuning in to the Art of Estate Planning podcast. And today I am thrilled to bring you a very special guest. She is sitting here right next to me after Law BizCon, and I am really excited to bring you Lidia's story. So our guest today is Lidia Vicca. She is the principal of Vicca Law, and I really think you're going to feel very inspired, and you're going to love Lidia because she is just a most wonderful person. But I think you're going to be really inspired by her journey to running her sole practice firm in estate planning. So welcome, Lidia.
Thank you. Thanks, Tara.
I am so excited to have you on. And the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is how you found your way to estate planning, because you didn't start out in estate planning when you started as a lawyer, did you?
No, I took a very traditional legal path. I was a clerk in a large commercial law firm, did a grad program, and I was in commercial litigation. So when I had my first baby in 2020, I was like, nah, I can't do big firms. I can't traditional. Went out by myself, and I really started estate planning as a way to be a kind of full service firm. Did a few wills, mostly for my lawyer friends that didn't have wills, which was crazy. And then got really complex kind of matter and thought, oh my gosh, this is actually interesting. This is actually something that I can dig my teeth into. And so that's how I started in estate planning.
I just think that's so incredible. So 10 years in top tier firms as a litigator. Firstly, I was so surprised to hear that about you, because you are just such a natural estate planner. And I always think of like litigators as being like so tough and ball breakers, which I mean that as a compliment. But yeah, that's incredible for you to just have the courage to go, actually, I'm going to step away from something that I'm an expert in and start fresh.
Well, you just haven't got on my bad side, Tara. And I'm sure my husband will tell you that I am a ball breaker, actually, as my mum will and my kids, I'm sure. But yes, I love commercial litigation. I still do commercial litigation. It's probably now 50% of what I do is comlit. I will always love it. But I love it because it's a challenge and it's a lot of strategy involved. But I was surprised when I started to do estate planning how there's also a lot of strategy involved in it. I had my will done and I used that as the basis, my blueprint of like being an estate planner, but there's a lot more to it. And so as my firm has grown, I have really moved more towards estate planning, estate admin a little bit, but sometimes they're a bit annoying. So mainly estate planning where everyone is currently alive, which is good.
Yeah, so it makes beautiful sense for you to draw on your litigation experience and do estate litigation as well. So you're focusing on upfront estate planning, estate litigation, and a little bit of commercial lit.
That's right. Yes. I would say in terms of like succession law, the majority is estate planning and doing wills and TT wills day in, day out. I would love to do more estate disputes. I've got a challenge to a will at the moment, which people are like, oh my God, someone's challenging a will. I'm like, yes, isn't it awesome? Someone's challenging, not my will, people, not my will, someone else's will. Public trustee will, shocking. Yes, but I still love disputing, but I don't know, I just find that estate planning provides me like a really nice balance.
And yeah, speaking of balance, like you're thick in the juggle right now. So you started your firm when you had your first son, but you've had 2 more babies since running your own firm, right?
Yes, that's right. So to take it back a step a little bit, I started my firm when I was 5 months pregnant with my second son. And that was really a desire, as I said before, of not wanting to go back to a traditional firm. So I had him in my belly, started the firm, started doing that. And then I had my my third child. You lose track. Once you get to the third, you've just lost track. My third daughter 6 months ago. So I've had 2 babies in 4 years, and I already had the original. So I've got 3. I'm only working part-time hours, so I am visibly available to clients 3 days per week. Work a lot more, obviously, as most law firm owners do, but visibly available 3 days. And that's just purely for freedom. I just wanted absolute freedom, and I wanted to be able to be there for my kids. My husband works full-time, and that's the path that we've chosen. So it's been nice for me to be able to choose kind of my own path, essentially.
Yeah, that's so powerful, right? And we were talking before we started recording about, you're in a season of life. Now, I've got 2 kids. I don't know how you do it with 3 little ones, but, once they're all at school, you'll be able to take the firm wherever you want, but like at the moment, it's serving your lifestyle needs, which I just think 10, 15 years ago, I remember sitting in my office at Eagle Street, like looking at the river, going, I've made it, but what's the end game? Because how is this sustainable? And I'm going to have to walk away from everything I've done. And do I have to leave the law even to be able to earn a good living and use my career once I start having children? So I just think it's so incredible that you've made a firm that works for you and where you're at with your lifestyle.
And I also think, and I guess this is being very vulnerable, that I was in commercial litigation. I was on the Banking Royal Commission for 9 months, for example, doing that, flying in, flying out, proceeding. I was doing big stuff with big ticket companies and federal, state government, big stuff. And when I started my own firm, there was a lot of imposter syndrome of, can I do this? And people maybe this is my impression, com lit is sexy, right? You're going to court, you're hanging with barristers, you're drinking a lot because of your hours. And I did look at estate planning as it's a bit boring, but my estate planning clients are so nice and so easy. Most of them are very nice and easy. It's just completely different to com lit. I love com lit, but yes, there was a lot of imposter syndrome about whether I could do it. That was really big for me. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you were basically living Suits in real life. Everybody, every young graduate, ambitious lawyer's dream, and you throw it all away for estate planning in the suburbs. I love it. I absolutely love it. Lidia, another thing I just want to say, and it's such a credit to you for all the work that you've put in. Well, I'll say 2 things. Firstly, if you want something done, ask a pregnant woman to do it. It's just unbelievable. But secondly, I didn't know this about you. I had thought when you came into our TT Precedents Club community and the way that you were showing up and, advanced questions you were asking and the guidance that you were generously sharing to our members in the community, I had just assumed that you had been doing estate planning from day one. So to have then hear that actually you've reskilled down the path, I just think it's such a credit to you for the work that you've put in.
Oh, that's very kind. I did do Wilson Estates in PLT, thanks to her. Yeah, I have worked really hard. I won't deny it. That sounds funny to say, but I have worked extremely hard. And I want to do that because, as a lot of sole practitioners, I am terrified of making a mistake. I'm terrified of making the wrong choice for my clients, advising them of something wrong. It terrifies me. And so I am very lucky, and I've said this to Tara previously, for having the TT Precedents Club to elevate my learning so quickly. I recently asked in a very popular women's lawyers Facebook group, which shall not be named, about upskilling in estates disputes. And there is nothing available. There is nothing available for me to do that. And that's going to make my life quite difficult, I think, in the future. There's some great reasons. I know some people, but having TT Precedents Club, I was really able to just get the precedents, understand them very easily, and have a whole network of people like yourself. I mean, we never knew each other. We might have passed each other on Eagle Street at one point, but I didn't know Tara or any of the wonderful people in the club. It's so incredibly nice, but it is a hard work. I think that when people looking at estate planning don't think it's easy, because it's not easy. You can be simple and you can be boring if you so desire. Basic wills, we like to call them. You can be basic. No one wants to be a basic B, but it takes a lot of work, but it's so worth it because I just love my clients come to me with these like crazy scenarios or crazy things that have happened or weird relationships. And you're like, wow, I really have to put my legal cap on. And I'm so thankful that I have the knowledge and the resources to put on my legal cap. And honestly, when you tell people you do wills, oh my God, family barbecues. I just got a bag from a small plug for VXT, a bag from them at Law BizCon that said, I'm billing you for this conversation. I'm taking that everywhere with me.
I mean, I didn't bring you on here just to make you keep plugging the teeth. Oh, I'll take the compliments, absolutely. But I do want to say, thank you so much for the way that you show up in our community, because you have made so many connections and you always generously share. And that's what makes it such a great place. So I do want to say thank you. And yeah, I'm here anyone can switch over to estate planning. And yeah, you're right. It is work. And I think a lot of people listening, you care so deeply about the outcomes for your clients. So you don't want to be doing something that's outside from a risk perspective, what you should be doing. But has it been 5 years that you've been running the firm now?
It's been 4 years.
Yeah, great. So in 4 years, in the span of your career, you've gone from novice, but for the PLT program, through to, I'd say that you're an expert on it now, and you've kept applying yourself and obviously committed. But you've also had 2 lots of maternity leave in that, and the pressure and, the admin and burden of setting up your own firm. So it's not like you've been hitting the books the whole time. I just think that's incredible,
That's very kind of you, Tara. It is. I really do enjoy it. And I guess also, when you're a solo, I feel like it's isolating and it's not isolating. I love it. I love the freedom of it. Tara and I just did a session. We talked about what we love about our work, and it was the freedom. Not answering to the men was my thing. So it has been really good in that aspect. And when I was thinking about doing this podcast with you, I was also thinking about how people look at us, and I think they look at us at Law BizCon oh, look at the cult, the TT Precedents Club cult. And we are a cult, yes. But there's also a lot of room for disagreement as well. And one thing that always sticks in my mind, I tell clients this story all the time, is one hot seat we were talking about enduring powers of attorney. And we were talking about when they should kick off. And everybody on that call, there were 35 people, said that they do them immediately. So enduring power of attorney, everyone assuming on here knows that you're alive, but someone's making decisions for you. And everyone on the call said, no, we tick immediate. So once it's signed, they can have immediate power. And there's ways that you can safeguard it by keeping the original, all that kind of stuff. I don't do that. I always do it on incapacity, as determined by a medical practitioner. And I always tell people this story that are on the call, and how my view is that, we should have autonomy and people should have autonomy, and it's really important to me. And most of my clients, quite honestly, agree with me, and I've had some clients tell me stories about how it's worked for them. But I really like how we just have such all different thought processes and put together different ideas, because if it was me by myself, I wouldn't really think about it. When you're a solo, you're just by yourself and you're just going your own way, but it's good to be challenged. And that's what I like about our cult, that we are challenged by the cult, but it's helped me, really think about my practice and the way that I do things too. Yeah.
That's such a cool I was like, where's she going with this? Has this been like a disastrous hot seat? I mean, that's such a cool example, right? Because that could be a debate question, and I could argue for either side. And I think, as you said, it ties into your values and, maybe who you have in your inner circle who you can appoint as your attorneys. And yeah, I think you're right. Like, I wouldn't say anybody is right or wrong with how they approach that, but I think it's important that you as a practitioner have thought deeply about why you are making a recommendation in a particular way, when you'll make exceptions to that. And, it's not like, this is how we do it at the firm that I've always been taught to do, or my supervising partner does it that way, so that's how we have to do it. And I think, that is what is so incredible about perhaps being a more experienced lawyer and then adding in a specialization, because you would have known all about powers of attorney in a different context through your corporate work. And I presume that came up in the Banking Royal Commission, perhaps, so you're bringing like a real depth of knowledge to how you practice.
One thing that I love going from a big firm, because when I was in a big firm, you're very tied, right? You're very tied to what you can do. You can't really give advice. You can't help people. And the one thing that I hated more than anything was watching family and friends get this crazy advice, right? They'd go see the local suburban lawyer, and I appreciate I'm saying this as the local suburban lawyer now, and they'd get advice, and it used to drive me insane. I couldn't do anything about it. And so when I started my firm, my big thing was helping middle income earners and small business owners find quality and cost-effective legal solutions, because there seems to be a really big gap, I think, in there. I think you would still find in estate planning a lot of practitioners that are just rolling the arm, as they say in cricket. A partner taught me that one, rolling the arm. I use it all the time. And then you would get people that are really thinking outside of the box. And for me, I just want to help people. Like, we all do that. That's why we're lawyers, right? Fundamentally, we want to help people. And that's my favorite thing about my firm. Seeing these little problems and coming up with solutions. This is like a very side note for you, but I have a friend, he has a class actions firm. I went through a stage where I was just sending him class action ideas constantly, all the time. And my number one class action idea, which he thinks isn't going to get up, but anyone can steal this because I think it's the benefit, is the superannuation being taxed on non-dependents. I have not had one client come to me, and I've told them that knew that, right? And it's discriminatory. I think it's discriminatory on the basis of marital status, because if someone had a spouse, then it's not taxed, right? So I just love thinking about these little tidbits and things, and really seeing issues in the community that you don't get to see when you're stuck.
The point about the super, and I know you said you're just a suburban firm, which I actually wouldn't class you as. I would call you like a boutique specialist firm. It's I think top tier service and experience at a, boutique delivery access point is how I view it, compared to, and I mean, it's suburban. They can be anywhere, but let's pick on the suburban fellas, who haven't done a CPD thing. They do one CPD cruise a year overseas or something, and, they're just not up to date. And yeah, the clients come in and the paralegal is pumping out the will. They get a will as they leave the meeting, and that's it. No one's talking to them about the super strategies. See a financial advisor to do a withdrawal and recontribution strategy, or we've got to direct the super to the death benefit dependents. And it's really scary. And yeah, how do you prove negligence for someone just not doing enough? That's outside my scope. But yeah, you guys are thinking so deeply and so comprehensively beyond the let's just pump out a basic will.
I recently had a client, her husband had passed away, and he had a business, and it was in a joint venture, and she went to see a firm out of the state that did her will, but I think that they were also kind of financial planners or something. Not one person had spoken to them about business succession. And that was really the main income for their family, was her husband's business. Not one person had spoken to them about what having a company meant, having a trust meant, and then also the complications with the joint venture. I was the first person that had spoken to her about it after he had passed away. I don't even know if they had a conversation about it at all. And to me, I mean, we could go, but that's kind of negligent in a way. I think that it's really holistic, and a lot of people will come to me and they will be, I charge a price for reviewing company constitutions and trust deeds. And people, don't even understand their own structures. And when I go, well, actually, you've got 6 separate entities here that you're in control of, they don't even realize. It's crazy to me, but / I also love it because it makes them think about what business succession looks like for them. And it allows me to use my brain to figure out a really great solution for them. Yeah, I just love that part too. Yeah.
I can really see your passion for this, shining through. I love it. Yeah, as you said, you went from the sexy suits type of law to the estate planning. I'd like to switch gears a little bit. So you also have a podcast, which, super mum, your little one is 6 months old. I don't know how you're doing it all, but it's absolutely incredible. And I guess I just wanted to ask you to share with the listeners, how you're using and leveraging the podcast. Maybe how are you managing to do it? And then, the role that it's playing in your marketing funnels or client journey, because I think that's really incredible.
So I started what is now called the Vicca Law podcast at the beginning of 2024. I use that podcast to inform all my marketing in my firm. So I am a talker, okay? Love talking, as you can tell, Tara knows. I'm a big talker. And so I knew that was my strength. So my idea is every month on my podcast, I have a different theme. So last month's theme was estate administration, essentially. Then I every week have a topic. And how I do it is I record it in one night. They're only 10 to 15 minutes and I just bang it out one night. I call it Marketing Monday and I usually do it on Monday nights. And then my VA, who's in the Philippines, who's my marketing, she only focuses on my marketing. She takes my podcast, she transcribes them into transcribes them, then she pops them into GPT. Oh, what is it? ChatGPT. Yeah. ChatGPT. She creates articles from them for my website. They get SEO'd by my SEO people. And then she creates all my social media from that podcast. So I have one piece that I do, and then it informs all my marketing for that month and gives me really good direction. I don't get a huge amount of people actually listening to my podcast, and I am probably doubting that there's anyone out there searching probate in the podcast world, okay? This is probably not going to happen. What I use it for is informing my clients, particularly around testamentary trusts is a big one. I have a lot of people ask me about testamentary trusts, and then I refer them to my podcast. And usually the podcast, more than the article, we have a flyer in the TT Precedents Club. I send it, but I don't think anyone reads it. I think they're more interested in the podcast. And now, a year in, so it has taken time to establish, I have people saying to me, oh, I saw you have a podcast on that. Oh, I listened to your podcast on that. And that has been so gratifying because I don't know who's listening, but also it's making me an authority in that space. And something so small, I will say I did a podcast on testamentary trust at the beginning of last year. I did an article from that. I had a client call me off that article and she has become one of my biggest clients. I did a very complex estate plan for her. I've then done some dispute work for her. I've done some commercial leasing work for her. She's become a huge client. And I just think that was just off one podcast.
That is so incredible to hear, Lidia. You sound like a marketing genius, but no, I mean it. And I think this is coming through in this recording, but if you ever meet Lidia, you have just got such a personable approach to the way you communicate. And I think, like, I have listened to some of your podcast episodes too, because I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is so incredible to see on top of everything else that you're juggling, that you have got a podcast too. And it really shines through. And so I am not at all surprised that it is converting clients, because if they're like, oh, I just want to like find out a bit more about Lidia, or, or they listen to one thing because it's referred to them, but then like the way the podcast players, they keep popping up more episodes, like they are going to know, like, and trust you after listening to this. And then the question for them becomes not who is going to do my estate plan. I'm shopping around for price and all of that. It's when is Lidia going to do my estate plan? So I just think that's so clever.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I've made mistakes, as we all have in marketing. If you have your own firm, like, it's inevitable that you're going to make mistakes. And so it's taken me a little bit to get here, but I really enjoy doing it. And that's the main thing. I just was never a writer. Like, when someone's like, write an article, write a case note, I could not think of anything worse in my whole entire life. And the thing about it is that people want someone personable for their estate plan. They don't want Mr. Doomsday or Mrs. Doomsday over there talking about death. Like, they actually want someone that they can relate to and is personable, because it makes them open up. And if they open up, then you can do a better job for them.
I really feel like you found your calling in estate planning. So where are you based?
In Aspley, in Brisbane. I have my office.
Great. And so you're just working in Queensland?
Yes, just doing Queensland work. Yeah.
Cool. Because I just think, I want people who's listening to like picture where you are and know about you, because reach out to Lidia, obviously. And if you're in the TT Precedents Club, you will already know Lidia, but follow her socials. So you're on Instagram, right?
Yes, my Instagram handle is Vicca Law, so it's VICCALAW. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. Instagram is my place, though. I really like that platform. So if you want to get to know me, that's the best way.
Incredible. Lidia, I'm so grateful for you sharing your story. Is there anything else that you want? Well, you've got your time on the mic. Is there anything else that you wanted to share? Any funny stories? Sorry, no pressure to come up with a funny story, of course, but I didn't want to just wrap it up on you.
You know what I think is funny? I was telling someone this the last few days, is that I haven't had any of my clients die yet. So that's going to be my new marketing slogan. If you want to stay alive, get your will done with me.
Definitely. You need to do a podcast episode on that. You're like, oh, you're feeling like you're going to jinx yourself? Superstitious about getting your will done? I've got 100% strike rate. Nobody dies yet.
Maybe that's just my time, but I'm definitely going to tell the oldies about that when they come through.
Oh, I really actually think that's a rite of passage too, when a client dies, because as you said, it's such a personable thing, and you get invested in knowing your clients and their lives, and it is really sad. So I'm really pleased that you haven't had to go through that yet, and I hope it's a long time before it happens.
Well, I'll probably be calling you in tears, Tara, but I think it's also, I guess this is one thing as well. This is a long-term relationship that you're building with people. I think people think estate planning is you get your will done and it's done. And I imagine for some people that is the case. But I make it a habit of contacting my clients every year saying, happy anniversary on signing your will. And they love the idea that I do that. You can really build long-term relationships with clients. And I think that's really fun, because then you see their lives grow, and they see my life grow.
I'm sure they're all so invested in your little ones and your babies as well. And they've seen, seen you being either pregnant or postpartum. Before we started, I was wrapping this up, but I've got one more thing I want to say. So before we started recording, you were like, oh, the thing I'm going to be working on is systems and processes. But it sounds like you have got so many incredible systems and process. I mean, you've nailed the podcast and marketing process, and the annual review follow up and check in. I think that is actually really advanced and sophisticated for a small firm.
I actually never thought about it that way. I'm always that person that's like setting up the modem, or I set up the TV. Like, my husband's terrible at that. I've always been like that techie person. And with all this AI and new technology, I have just put it in the too hard basket. I really have, which is embarrassing for me because I think I'm quite young. So I want to use the tech to automate my systems and make my life even easier. I have some really good precedents and systems in place. But next step, 2025 goal, automation. Yep.
Okay. Oh, that sounds incredible. Well, we'll be getting you back in 2026 to tell us how it all went and everything that you learned. And it sounds like we've literally just wrapped up at LawBizCon like half an hour ago. So it sounds like that might have been one of your biggest takeaways from the conference.
Oh, yes. I was just telling people at LawBizCon that I've been on the hamster wheel for 6 months, the last 6 months having a baby, and I feel very reinvigorated, actually. So this is a good time to have a podcast because I'm feeling really good and really positive about the good changes I want to make in my business and making my life easier as well.
Oh, you're incredible, Lidia. I can just see your firm going from strength to strength. It's so inspiring. Like, at the moment, you've got a really young family and you need it to serve particular lifestyle goals, and you have done the hard work to make that happen. But I can see, you've got so many ideas, and when you're in a new chapter of your life where you've got more time and resources to commit to it, it sounds like the sky's the limit. So thank you for sharing where you're at in your journey with your firm now. I can't wait to keep watching it. And I also just want to say thank you for everything that you do and contribute to our wonderful community. You are always so generous and provide such, you're just beaming at me right now. You just provide such a beautiful, positive, friendly energy. And we are all so grateful for you. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Tara. And really, she is the TT Queen, everyone. So that title will never be gone. But thank you so much for everything too.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you're ready to dive deeper into your estate planning practice, there are 2 ways that I can help you. So number 1, go to www.theartofelstateplanning.com.au and check out our free resources. There are so many checklists and tools to help you for free. Number 2, while you're there, check out our range of estate planning precedents. We specialize in testamentary trust precedents that are easy to understand. They integrate with Smokeball, Clio, Action Step, and Leap, and they come with extensive training on how to use them with clients and understand the legal principles behind the clauses so that you can start offering testamentary trusts to your clients with confidence. Go check out www.theartofelstateplanning.com.au. It's time to start feeling confident preparing and advising on testamentary trust wills. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Art of Estate Planning podcast. If you want more information about today's episode, make sure to check out our show notes. And if you liked what you heard today, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your reviews help us reach more listeners and support more estate planning lawyers. I acknowledge that I recorded this podcast from the lands of the Tarabellang Bunda peoples. I also want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which each of you are listening and watching from today. We pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to the lands and waters of Australia.